Hi, it's Lee, and welcome to the Tesla Economist. Now, you've all likely come across this information about the supposed leaked audio from an internal Tesla meeting in regards to the new VP to oversee the Nevada Gigafactory. For those who haven't, we will go over it and remind those who have. From there, we will analyse what it means for the company. So, the former VP of Giga Nevada, Chris Lister, has left Tesla and been replaced with Hiroshu Sagar. Sagar will now be overseeing Nevada and vehicle assembly in Fremont simultaneously. Sagar spoke to hundreds of Giga Nevada employees on the 8th of September, and a lot of information was revealed about the future operations. So we'll go through each element of it and make sense of it all. He said that August was one of Fremont's record months in terms of production. Well, to be honest, these days we kind of expect every month to be a record production month. However, he does say that Fremont is now able to make 12,000 vehicles a week, which is a number we can use. Just to let you know, that would be 156,000 vehicles a quarter. He also said that they produced 134,000 in Fremont in Q2. Now, this doesn't mean that they will produce 156,000 in Q3. It means that they are at that run rate currently, which is actually really good. Really, that is good news, especially considering a lot of this increase in rate might be from the more profitable Model S and X lines. That is a 9% increase in production from the previous quarter. He then talks about the next goal for Fremont, which is, get this, a jump all the way to 14,000 vehicles a week, just from Fremont. Sure, China is doing almost double that, but it's nice to see Fremont really carrying its weight too. Not only that, it's seriously impressive to see their oldest factory still making such huge jumps in production, even these days. And that would come to 182,000 a quarter, which really is a decent number. He doesn't, however, say when this target will be reached, but if I had to guess, I would expect by the end of the year. It wouldn't make sense to set a target like that 2 years away or something. And that is, by the way, a 34% jump in production from Q2. And Fremont's Q2 didn't have any of the issues like the other three factories in that quarter. So that is a real increase. It's also an annual production rate of 730,000. Might I remind you that Tesla claimed that their production capacity for Fremont is actually only 650,000. You know me, I do like to look for evidence of sandbagging. It makes things a bit more exciting. And that's kind of what I do. Try and make holding onto your shares as exciting as possible until they go up so much that we can actually sell some and then start the real excitement. I've also heard other people also speculate to me that they think various insiders of Fremont is capable of a lot more capacity again. And we even had Elon Musk in the early days say they could make $1 million there. And this is all being done with their oldest manufacturing techniques. Anyway, if Tesla could reach just 160,000 from Fremont for Q4, it really will make that 500,000 deliveries look that much closer, especially when a lot of people are only estimating around 140,000 from Fremont. Moving on, Sagar also spoke about Berlin. They have hit a milestone of producing 1,000 cars for a 7-day rolling basis. I know it doesn't sound massively exciting, but they go on to say that they're expecting to still hit volume production, i.e. 5,000 a week, by the end of the year, which really would have some impact, although this has since been updated to early Q1. Now, you're probably wondering how they think they can hit that many Model Ys in Berlin without 4680 cells. Well, I think it's going to be from BYD, supplying more blade cells. I think Tesla are going to cut back on their 2170s in China as well and allocate them to Berlin. But this ramp will most likely be from more LFP cells from BYD. I can't see how they can achieve that otherwise. And those rear-wheel drive Model Ys are selling really well in Europe. He goes on to say that Giga Texas is also at 1,000 units a week. Again, this isn't really a great number to be at by this stage, but it is what it is, and it's all kind of irrelevant until Tesla get their 4680s into gear. He also mentions that Giga Nevada made 283,473 powertrains in Q2, which went to Giga Austin and Fremont. That sounds like a lot, but I'm not entirely sure how loose a term they're using with powertrain. Officially, I believe it does include the battery and the motors, inverter, and a few other components, but I believe some people also refer to it to not include the battery, which would thus just be the drivetrain, and the terms powertrain and drivetrain are somewhat thrown around synonymously, which might mean that there are 2 drivetrains in an all-wheel drive version, but just one powertrain. However, if anyone can explain the difference between the two much better, then please be sure to comment below. We're told that Tesla is on track to produce 442 megapacks for this third quarter, which would be an 85% growth over Q2, taking it likely to around 2 gigawatt hours, which would be a record. This is due to more LFP cells available, so it might actually mean there is some sort of reasonable gross profit now too in the energy side of business. Although it would still only be between around $1 or $200 million at most, so not going to have a major impact, but good to finally see some growth in this area of the business. Bear in mind, the new megafactory in California is aiming to hit 40 gigawatt hours of megapacks a year, which is about 5 times what we're suggesting again. Now that actually will have an impact on profit. And bear in mind, this is a custom-built facility around megapacks, so imagine what the manufacturing lines will be like there. I would say when this factory is ramped and using LFP cells, then perhaps we could see 30% gross margins on energy. There's also a slight update on Powerwalls, saying that they'll be at a rate of 6,500 a week, and they made 37,600 in Q2, with a target to increase that a further 22% for Q3. That is, however, only about half a gigawatt hour of Powerwalls for the quarter. It's not a big number we're talking about. They're competing for 2170 cells, which I think Texas really wants. But the use of LFP cells now in Megapacks is likely freeing up more 2170 cells that can be used in Powerwalls, hence this potential growth. Powerwalls will continue to be constrained by 2170 cells until Texas has ramped up with the 4680 cells. From there, then I think Tesla can really crank out Powerwalls. And I imagine they have a reasonable margin too. But the next version of Powerwall will also likely be LFP cells. Whether it's Tesla's in-house LFP or still using CATLs, we have yet to see. But I would also expect the price of them to drop by a bit by then, which makes them a lot more affordable. Not that Tesla are struggling to sell them at the existing price, but Powerwall is a product that saves people money, along with other various advantages like off-grid. But from an economic standpoint, it has a money-saving advantage. However, that can be based upon return on investment as to how valuable it is to a consumer. So when the price reduces, it simply becomes a better return on investment. And perhaps in the future, for a lot of consumers, depending on how much they pay on electricity, it might end up taking 3 years to pay off instead of perhaps 6. That's a great return and worth doing for everyone. It's an even better return than paying off your credit card. And now we're even hearing that Tesla finally has enough access to all the batteries they need for the first time, of which they're referring to Megapacks as well. Now, is that it? Does this mean Tesla are no longer battery constrained and they can just get on with building more cars and finally bring out more models and variants? Of course not. I think it just means that they have enough LFP cells finally to match up to their current vehicle lines that do offer LFP cells, and so much so that they can finally use them in Megapacks and are no longer cell constrained there, at least at their current production rates. Probably not the new facility in California. The biggest bottleneck to Tesla's future growth is still cells, namely the 4680 cell. But I don't have to explain all that to you. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.